tasting zoo.
Hmm.
Not your usual petting zoo. This place is really making waves.
Yeah.
For its unique approach to, shall we say, experiencing the animal kingdom.
Interesting.
You've sent us a bunch of info on this Navarre Savory Safari.
Oh, yeah.
Social media posts, website details.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm already fascinated
Right.
and a little bewildered.
Yeah, it's definitely a novel concept. Not just a restaurant with like a wildlife theme,
Right.
but something entirely new. This Navarre Savory Safari is located in Navarre, Florida, apparently.
Okay.
And just reopened after some time off the radar, huh?
Yeah, I've been skimming through their website, and it's a lot to take in. They proudly proclaim themselves the world's first tasting zoo, and there's this like recurring theme of celebrating humans
Oh, wow.
at the top of the food chain. It's a bold statement, to say the least.
It is. You know, their messaging seems to tap into this broader conversation
Yeah.
about our relationship with food and animals. Like,
Yeah.
are we moving away from a purely sentimental view of wildlife
Right.
towards something a bit more pragmatic?
I don't know, it's interesting. Their website has a few visitor reviews.
Okay.
And the reactions are, well, all over the map. One person called it a culinary nightmare,
Oh,
while another raved about it as an unforgettable experience.
wow.
So it sounds like they're not aiming for like those middle-of-the-road reactions, you know?
That polarization is interesting in itself, you know? Maybe it suggests they're kind of forcing people to confront their own preconceived notions about where food comes from and how we interact with the animal world, you know?
It's true, it's true. Okay, so here's where it gets really wild. They've got this promotion called the Feathered Feast Frenzy. And get this, it's a life-size claw machine game where you catch a live duck and then they
Oh, wow.
prepare it rotisserie style right there.
Wow. Combining live animal interaction
Yeah.
with, well, immediate consumption,
Yeah.
especially in an environment likely to have children present. It's a choice.
It's a lot.
It certainly blurs some ethical lines, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. Let's move on to their social media. Their Navarre Savory Safari account is popping up.
Really?
Promotions galore, event announcements, behind-the-scenes sneak peeks.
Oh, wow.
They're really leaning into that online hype machine, you know?
Yeah, I think that constant content creation is definitely a deliberate strategy. You know, they're aiming to build a distinct brand
Right.
around this unusual concept, even if it means courting controversy to attract, well, a specific audience.
Yeah. And speaking of controversy, let's talk about the menu.
Okay.
It's full of exotic meats. We've got zebra, kangaroo, lionfish,
Wow.
even alligator, snapping turtle. They're not exactly sticking to the usual chicken and beef options here.
What strikes me is the range of animals they're sourcing.
Right.
Some, like lionfish, are invasive species, so consuming them could be framed as, beneficial from an ecological standpoint.
Right.
But then you have other potentially rarer or endangered animals on the menu,
Yeah.
which will definitely raises questions about their sourcing practices and overall sustainability.
It's very true. Hold on, because this next one might make you spit out your coffee.
Oh, no.
They also offer panda.
Panda?
Well, specifically panda pancreas, which they've decided to call pandacreas,
Correct.
just to add that extra layer of whimsy, I guess.
Okay, that's pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
It seems they're intentionally incorporating elements of shock value,
Right.
and pushing the envelope of what's considered acceptable, perhaps to further solidify their, niche appeal.
Yeah. And they're doubling down on the out there factor with their promotional events.
Okay.
Things like a Meet in the Moonlight tour where you wander around the zoo at night and sample jerky made from nocturnal animals.
Certainly a creative way to cater to a very specific audience.
Then there's the Predator Prep 101 class aimed at children where they apparently teach them about survival of the fittest and the realities of the food chain.
That's a bold move. Teaching kids about where food comes from is important, but this approach feels quite intense.
It does.
I'm curious about the educational methods they use and how they navigate the potentially sensitive aspects of animal slaughter for a young audience.
Very true. And to top it off, for Halloween, they're hosting the Revenge of the Carved, the reanimated feast.
Well,
featuring, you guessed it, twitching, reanimated meat.
Reanimated meat. It's like something out of a sci-fi horror film.
It really is.
This really leans into their strategy of shock and awe marketing, targeting a very specific demographic that enjoys the thrill of the unusual and potentially macabre.
It's true. So far, it seems like they're all in on that shock factor.
Okay.
But there are some more conventional elements, too. Okay. They have a regular cafe, the Expedition Cafe, with a rotating menu.
That's smart. Having a more traditional option alongside the, well, outlandish offerings
right.
broadens their appeal. Families can choose their level of engagement with the whole tasting zoo concept.
And they're big on giraffe milk products. They even have a dedicated zookeeper, Lily, who's apparently obsessed with all things giraffe milk.
Giraffe milk, that's not something you see every day.
Yeah.
It highlights their commitment to novelty and finding unique ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
And focusing on Lily's passion humanizes the experience and perhaps helps offset concerns about animal exploitation.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of unique characters, besides Lily, they have Tidbit the Tasteroo, their mascot, because every tasting zoo needs a mascot.
Apparently so.
I guess so.
It's an interesting choice, using a mascot in a setting that's inherently somewhat controversial.
Yeah.
It might be a way to create a more lighthearted, family-friendly atmosphere.
Right. Then there's their chief animal transition specialist, Dr. Frillick Carver, who has a background in both veterinary medicine and culinary arts.
Now, that's an interesting combination.
It really is.
Dr. Carver seems to be a key figure in their narrative, potentially bridging the gap between animal care and culinary practices.
For sure.
I'd be curious to learn more about his role and how he navigates the ethical complexities of this whole operation.
Me too. And then there's the incidents. Apparently, one of their giraffes escaped to pursue a modeling career in Paris.
A giraffe model.
I know, right?
That's a story I need to hear more about.
I know.
But it also makes you wonder about their security protocols
Right.
and animal containment procedures.
Yeah.
How does a giraffe just wander off to a fashion capital?
Right. And then there was also a spring break incident where some visitors got a little too friendly with the otters. Beer was involved.
Ah, spring break.
I know.
That incident highlights the potential clashes that can arise when you mix a party atmosphere with wild animals.
Mm-hmm.
It underscores the need for clear boundaries and strict safety regulations to protect both visitors and the animals themselves.
Oh, and you remember that sinkhole that appeared on their property?
Oh, yeah.
Well, one of the employees was lowering a GoPro into it, and something snatched it.
A sinkhole mystery. That's an unexpected twist. What could be lurking down there? It adds a layer of intrigue and even danger to the whole Navarre Savory Safari narrative.
And to add another layer of, well, they're apparently searching for a new exotic meat transition specialist.
That job posting alone could be a goldmine of information.
Right.
It would reveal a lot about their operational needs and the specific skills they prioritize.
Mm-hmm.
It also suggests they're planning to expand their menu and offerings, pushing the boundaries even further.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground already, and I feel like we've just scratched the surface of this Navarre Savory Safari.
It's a lot to process. What we've learned so far paints a picture of a place that's equal parts bizarre, innovative, and ethically complex.
Definitely. Before we dive into the menu and the specific animals they feature, what are some of the key takeaways you think our listeners should keep in mind?
Well, first and foremost, the concept itself is completely unique.
Right.
The Navarre Savory Safari is a bold experiment that challenges our preconceived notions about zoos and our relationship with animals as a food source.
Right.
Second, there are undeniable ethical questions surrounding their practices, particularly concerning the sourcing of exotic meats and the potential impact on animal welfare.
Right.
And finally, it's clear that they are leveraging shock value and controversy to create buzz and attract a niche audience.
That's a great summary.
Thanks.
Now, I'm dying to hear more about this menu.
Sure.
What kind of dishes do they actually serve?
Get ready, because things are about to get wild. All right, let's unpack this menu. It's like a fascinating blend of the familiar and the utterly exotic.
I'm ready. We know they've got zebra, kangaroo, even that panda pancreas.
Right.
What else jumps out at you?
Well, their patriotic charcuterie board, featured during their grand reopening on July 4th, is a great example of their, approach. It had everything from chimpanzee sausage slices to python pastrami.
Python pastrami. Okay, you've got my attention.
And it gets even wilder. They offer Madagascar ring-tailed lemur loin, alligator snapping turtle terrin, and southern emperor penguin pate.
Wait, penguin? Now that seems like they're pushing things a bit far, even for them.
It does raise questions about their commitment to sustainability. You know, penguins, especially certain species like the emperor penguin, face various threats, including climate change and habitat loss. Sourcing them for food raises concerns about the impact on already, well, vulnerable populations.
That's a good point. We definitely need to circle back to that whole sustainability question later.
Yeah.
But first, tell me more about this 17 animal gumbo they keep mentioning.
Ah, yes. Their signature dish. It features a 72-hour broth made from Chinese baby muntjac.
Chinese baby muntjac. I'm not even sure I know what that is.
It's a small deer species found in Southeast Asia. What's interesting here is that they emphasize using the entire animal in their cooking. It ties into their messaging about minimizing waste and respecting the animal.
Yeah. They do seem to highlight those ideas a lot in their marketing. Almost like they're trying to preemptively address potential criticisms about their ethical practices.
Yeah, it's a clever strategy. By focusing on sustainability and minimizing waste, they're appealing to a growing consumer base that's, well, concerned about the environmental impact of their food choices.
For sure. Okay, so we've got the charcuterie board, the gumbo. What else are they serving up?
Well, they have a rotating menu at their Expedition Cafe, with seasonal dishes inspired by the animals in their care.
Cool.
And let's not forget their obsession with jerky.
Oh, right. The jerky. It's everywhere. They've got otter jerky, lemur jerky.
They have alligator jerky with a Gatorade glaze, owl wing jerky, kangaroo pepperoni.
Wow.
They're constantly experimenting with new flavor combinations and pushing the boundaries of what can be turned into jerky.
It's almost like they're trying to elevate jerky to gourmet status.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're taking a familiar snack and adding an exotic twist, which aligns with their overall theme of turning the ordinary into an extraordinary, if slightly unsettling experience.
And they're definitely not shy about incorporating that, well, the shock factor. Just look at their reanimated feast for Halloween.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Where else can you get a plate of twitching tortoise ribeye or quivering quail breast?
Yeah.
It's a testament to their commitment to creating, well, unique, unforgettable experiences.
It seems like they're targeting a very specific audience with that one, but they do offer some more conventional options too, like pork.
Right. We can't forget Jed Cletus McCoy and little Darlene Sue, the masterminds behind their small animal jerky operation.
Yeah.
Apparently, Jed is a huge pork enthusiast.
Huge. They even made that song and video called Homage to Pork to convince the zoo to, feature more pork dishes.
And their passion paid off. The zoo now has a special selection of pork dishes curated by Jed himself.
It's amazing how much personality comes through in all their content. You really get a sense of the people behind the Navarre Savory Safari and their, well, quirky vision.
Absolutely. From Lily, the giraffe milk enthusiast, to Dr. Carver, the animal transition specialist, to the, well, mischievous mascot, Tidbit the Taste-a-roo.
Right.
They've created a cast of characters that brings this bizarre concept to life.
And speaking of bizarre, let's not forget about their new bacon bites, created by their food genetics research branch.
Yes.
Yeah.
The bacon bites, a gene-spliced delicacy combining the familiar taste of bacon with the genes of New Zealand hairless sweat mouse.
It sounds like something out of a science fiction novel.
It definitely speaks to their desire to be at the forefront of, culinary and genetic innovation.
Yeah.
But it also raises questions about the ethical implications of, well, such advancements. Where do we draw the line when it comes to manipulating nature for our own consumption?
That's a big question. We've talked about their menu, their marketing, their larger-than-life personalities.
Right.
But what about the actual zoo experience? What can visitors expect when they walk through those gates?
Well, picture this. You're strolling through the Navarre Savory Safari.
Okay.
And instead of the usual gift shop filled with plush toys, you encounter a giraffe snack station, a vending machine stocked with giraffe jerky, conveniently located right next to the giraffe enclosure.
That's both hilarious and a little unsettling. It's like they're constantly playing with that line between admiration for these animals and seeing them as a food source.
Exactly. It's all part of their strategy to challenge conventional zoo norms and present a unique perspective on our relationship with the animal kingdom.
And it's not just the vending machines. They also have those unique experiences like the Meat in the Moonlight tours.
Right. Imagine wandering through the zoo at night, observing the nocturnal animals in their element, and then sampling jerky made from those very same creatures. It's a sensory overload in the best possible way.
And for the younger visitors, they've got that feathered feast frenzy where kids can catch a duck with a life-size claw machine
Right.
and then watch it get prepared rotisserie style.
It's a bold move, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
Some parents might appreciate the hands-on approach
Mm-hmm.
to teaching kids about the food chain, while others might find it disturbing and, well, potentially traumatizing. It's a prime example of how the Navarre Savory Safari pushes boundaries
Yeah.
and sparks debate.
And let's not forget those Predator Prep 101 classes where kids learn about survival of the fittest and the realities of being at the top of the food chain.
It's a thought-provoking approach to education.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not shying away from the sometimes harsh realities of the animal world.
Yeah.
But they're presenting it in a way that's engaging and, dare I say, entertaining.
And it seems like they're always coming up with new ways to engage visitors, like their recent Fantastic Feline Dentistry show.
Oh, yes. Where else can you watch zookeepers perform dental cleanings on big cats, like lions and tigers?
Yeah.
It's a unique way to showcase animal care while also reminding visitors of the power and majesty of these creatures.
Speaking of powerful creatures, remember that incident with the escaped Kodiak bear, Sum Ting Wong?
That was certainly a memorable event. It's both humorous and a bit concerning. It raises questions about their safety protocols
Right.
and ability to contain potentially dangerous animals, even with the best intentions.
Yeah, it also highlights the unpredictable nature of working with wild animals,
Yeah.
even with most stringent precautions.
Right,
There's
right.
always a risk of the unexpected.
Absolutely. And that element of unpredictability is part of what makes the Navarre Savory Safari so intriguing. You never know what's going to happen next.
It really is this unique blend of entertainment, education, and ethical dilemmas.
It reflects our own complex and evolving relationship with the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
It forces us to confront our own beliefs about consumption, entertainment, and the role of humans in the natural world.
So what does this all mean for the future of tasting zoos? Could this become a trend? Or is the Navarre Savory Safari destined to remain a one-of-a-kind experience?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
The novelty factor is certainly working in their favor.
Yeah.
But the ethical considerations and potential for controversy might make it difficult for this concept to gain widespread acceptance.
It's hard to say for sure, but one thing is certain. The Navarre Savory Safari has sparked a conversation that's likely to continue long after you leave the park.
And that, perhaps, is their ultimate goal, to make us think, to make us question, and to make us reconsider our place in the grand scheme of things.
So we've explored their out-there menu, their marketing, and those larger-than-life personalities behind this whole thing. But what about the actual visitor experience? Like, what can people expect when they walk through the gates of the Navarre Savory Safari?
Well, imagine, right, you're strolling through, enjoying the sights and sounds, and instead of the usual gift shop, you know, with all the plushy toys and stuff, you stumble upon the giraffe snack station.
The what?
Yeah, it's a vending machine right there by the giraffe enclosure.
No way.
Stocked with, well, giraffe jerky.
Wow. I mean, talk about really blurring the lines, right?
Yeah.
On one hand, you're admiring these graceful creatures, and then on the other, you're encouraged to, like, snack on their jerky.
It's a constant push and pull between that appreciation and, you know, consumption.
Yeah.
They really want to challenge our whole idea of what a zoo can be.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into this this truly one-of-a-kind place, any final thoughts on the Navarre Savory Safari? Such a whirlwind, you know. Bizarre, innovative, thought-provoking, and even a little unsettling at times. But more than anything, it's a conversation starter.
It definitely is that. It makes you question, think about our relationship with the animal world.
Right. Are we just caretakers? Or are we more than that?
Predators, partners, something in between.
Big questions.
Big questions.
And like any good deep dive, I think we come out of it with more questions than answers, really. But that's the fun part of exploring new things, isn't it?
It's been an enlightening journey.
It certainly has. And to our listener, we leave you with this. Imagine you're at the Navarre Savory Safari, standing before their enclosure of endangered Javon rhinos. You've just sampled their rhino jerky, and you're struck by the complex flavors and the sheer rarity of the experience. What thoughts and emotions come to mind? As always, the deep dive continues, this time within you.
Until next time, stay curious.